You can't scroll through social media today without being told to go to therapy, protect your peace, or cut off toxic people. At first glance, that seems like great advice. Who wouldn't want peace, healing, and emotional clarity? But what if I told you that therapy culture has started to resemble a cult? A soft, Instagram-filtered, jargon-heavy cult that's less about healing and more about ego, branding, and emotional indulgence. Stick around. This one might sting a little. Let's start with a basic truth. Therapy can be transformative. If you're dealing with real trauma, debilitating anxiety, addiction, then therapy is often essential. But over the past decade, therapy has morphed into a personality, a brand, a lifestyle. It's no longer something you do quietly in a shrink's office once a week. It's a hashtag, a meme, a merch line. The goal isn't always healing anymore. The goal is to be seen healing, to signal that you're self-aware, that you're working on your boundaries, that you're a trauma-informed, crystal-wielding empath who just knows their worth. It's emotional materialism, packaged and sold. Here's where it gets darker. Therapy speak, terms like gaslighting, narcissist, trauma bond, boundaries, has spilled into everyday conversation. And that's not a bad thing, until it is. What used to be clinical terms are now just insults we hurl when someone pisses us off. Don't like your boss's feedback? He's a narcissist. Your partner criticized you? That's emotional abuse. Someone doesn't agree with your worldview? They're toxic and need to be cut off. We've taken powerful language meant to diagnose real psychological conditions and turned it into a weapon for self-victimization. It's no longer about accountability. It's about labeling anyone who threatens your ego as a villain in your healing journey. We now live in a world where healing is a performance. It's curated like a Pinterest board. We post our therapy notes. We share reels about our inner child. We brag about boundaries like we're putting up security fences around a VIP section of our life. But here's the thing. Real healing is boring. It's private. It's hard. And it usually doesn't photograph well. If your healing needs constant validation online, you're not healing, you're marketing. Self-awareness has become a flex. Vulnerability has become a product. And somehow your childhood trauma now needs to fit a 15-second TikTok format. Let me be blunt. Not every uncomfortable feeling needs a diagnosis. Sometimes you're not burnt out, you're just tired because life is hard. Sometimes you're not triggered, you're just annoyed. And sometimes, the person you think is emotionally unavailable just isn't that into you. Therapy culture teaches people to pathologize normal human experiences. We've lost sight of resilience, of grit, of handling pain without needing a custom affirmation deck and a salt lamp. We've turned every dip in the emotional roller coaster into a reason to cut ties and do shadow work. Now let's talk about the new breed of therapist, the influencer therapist. These are the ones with massive followings, pastel infographics, and a link in bio for merch. They've taken therapy out of the room and into the feed. And some of them are great, don't get me wrong. But there's a disturbing trend here. Therapy is becoming entertainment. People are mining their own sessions for content, posting tearful selfies after breakthroughs. Here's what my therapist told me today, like it's a damn fortune cookie. And what happens when your healing doesn't go viral? What if it's messy, slow, inconvenient? Suddenly, it's not worth sharing, so it doesn't feel real. Let's call it what it is. We've turned inward so much, we've created a cult of the self. We're told to cut off anyone who doesn't serve you, to choose yourself, to stop pouring from an empty cup. Yes, some of that is valid. But when everything becomes about your own peace, your own energy, your own healing, you stop being in relationship with others. You become the center of a moral universe where your feelings are always right and your critics are always toxic. That's not self-care. That's narcissism with better PR. Look, I'm not against therapy. I'm against turning therapy into a substitute for introspection, for growth, for actual hard work. Healing doesn't need an audience. Boundaries don't need a post. And self-worth isn't measured by how many times you say no to people. The real work? It's quiet, it's thankless, it's invisible. And maybe, just maybe, that's where the real healing begins.